Welcome to the Creature Cast, the official Console Creatures podcast. I'm your host today, Steve Egvar, and alongside me, as always, my good pal Bobby. How the heck are you today?
2 for 2, baby. We're
That's it.
driving on a Sunday, still
Hell yeah.
recording on a snowy Sunday, but I'm doing good. What about you?
Yeah. Doing really good. Hours away from the Super Bowl, hours away from me just devouring some chicken wings, some nachos, maybe. I don't know.
Bowl? The what?
Huh? The
What's
Puppy
the
Bowl.
one?
The Puppy
Oh.
Bowl. Yeah.
See, I am only about the World Cup or Euro Cup. I'm not I'm not a football guy. Sorry.
Well, I mean, in some places of the world, that is football.
Fair enough.
That is football, you know. Got you there, fucker.
Fuck, I guess I should just stop talking then.
And joining us once again, Marcel Dee
man.
from A Gaming Network. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk about some South of Midnight.
Heck yes.
And some good football food. I mean, one good thing that comes with the Super Bowl is the food. Let's be honest here. It's like how many nachos you're devouring, how many wings you scarf down, you know.
That's what it's
the
all
thing
about.
is, how many drums and flats are you having? That's a real question.
Oh, you got to go at least 2 flats per drum. I'm a flat guy.
Oh no, drums are better.
Drums are the way to go.
You think?
Flat flicks on that bad boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
man.
do you eat drumsticks or do you eat chicken thighs? I think drumsticks are the way to go, man. Drumsticks are
over the thighs, yeah, absolutely. But over the little flats, man, you get the flats, you just suck them off like a little lollipop, you know.
Yeah, but the same thing goes with drums with the drums, though. I'm just saying,
drums are better. Drums are way better. I
like both, but
of course, yeah, so do I.
I don't want anyone to think that like only drums is man's insane. Like no, I like a nice variety, but I do like my drums.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I kind of want to get some wings tonight, so I think
you should.
I think I might have to get some wings after this.
Here we go. Here we go, boys. I got some garlic buffalo sauce that I'm gonna.
You know what I missed? I miss Buffalo Wild Wing. Their Tuesdays were the best wings, and they had the best garlic parmesan.
Oh, the garlic parm. Yeah, the garlic parm.
They used to sell it by the bottle, and then once they went out of business, like I've been fiending for that sauce. It's hard to find it, but like, oh man, Buffalo Wild Wing had the best wings in Canada. Yeah.
R.I.P. Buffalo Wild Wing. But you know what's not R.I.P. is South of Midnight. Coming from Compulsion Games, we're talking a little preview action. You two have gone hands-on with the game, spent a little bit of time with it. I'm very curious about this. Obviously, hailing from a Montreal-based studio, very exciting stuff for Canada. Always stand a Canadian studio. So I want to go hit you up first, Marcel. Like, what's your experience like with this latest preview? How much what does it entail? What are your thoughts on it?
Overall, it's very positive. I will say there are some kinks that definitely needs to be ironed out, but but overall, it was very enjoyable, and then they have me hooked or tangled, I should say, actually.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Bobby?
I'm in the same boat as Marcel. Like I'm left my demo pretty positive, but there are some issues that I feel like are going to be glaring and will bring the review period scores down. So I mean, but to be fair, I mean, Compulsion did say like, hey, we didn't focus on this element because we didn't really want to. The more important stuff was the lore and the music and the story, so which is fair. So I'll give them that. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys want to start with? I mean, like, we can talk about the characters. Like, I'm down for anything. But
let's talk us through exactly what the demo entails. Like, how long was it? How much did you play? What really did it give you the sense of within the game?
So so let's start with this. So it starts in chapter 3. So it's not the beginning, which I feel was probably a mistake, but you dropped into this chapter and you're kind of just given all these tools. So you have access to the combat, you have access to some of the powers, you have a pretty decent sized chunk of wetland in the swamp area of this town. But yeah, I mean, you're just kind of dropped in, and then you're kind of left to fend for yourself and kind of figure out everything as you go. And that kind of ruined my first impression, because I was lost. I didn't understand how to, initiate with the controls, and that kind of set me back about 20 minutes, just because I was like, well, what do I do? But once you finally get on that saddle, you're like, this handles really well. Like Hazel controls well. She's a really cool character. But then you have to fight these haints, which are like, I guess they're like, I don't know, they're not really explained.
They never explained, yeah.
But from what I gather, yeah, it feels like they're not explained. But I what my understanding is, they're just like fractures of like bad memories, and like they're just like they're brought to life by like just repressed memories and like bad juju.
Okay,
and that's why they're starting to pop up all over this area, and like, you start fighting.
They kind of remind me of the Kingdom Hearts characters. Like I can't remember the loneliness, or I can't remember what they call it.
The heartless ones.
The heartless ones, yeah. Yeah, it's just like these like blobs that you're fighting, but like Bobby said, this of bad memories, or just even like people who are holding regret in a way or something. Like it just like a bad omen in a way.
Yeah. And like that's cool. Like I like how it ties into, and this goes back to the lore of I guess the south, like the southern areas of like the States. But everyone in like this in the South, like they're dealing with, like in this game here, like there's a hurricane that happened, and I feel like it's like it's just destroyed the area. So like obviously everyone's they're defeated by what happened to them, like they lost their homes, and like all this starts coming to a head where you're now dealing with the remnants of that. So you have people who have vanished, you have people who are just like so down, like their sadness is now coming to life as a bunch of these monsters. And people like Hazel are called weavers, who have these supernatural powers, who are able to like tap into something called the Grand Tapestry, which is basically everything. It's what brings everything together. So it's kind of like in Greek history or Greek culture, Greek mythology, where it's like they have like the threads of fate, where it kind of just your life is this thread, and it says here's your beginning, your middle, your end, and as a weaver, like they're the ones who like she's got even like weaver tools. So she's got like these hooks you fight with, that are how she deals with the spindle of thread. So she like can weave like the history of these people. She can change things to a certain degree. She can see echoes of the past, and she uses like these tools to just engage with them. And it's a cool concept. But I'm not familiar with it. I mean, obviously, because I'm not from the South. But like, I mean, I wish when the full game launches, like I hope there's maybe like and going back to our Avowed preview, something that kind of explains like why they thought of this concept, why this is the way it is, like why these weavers are using these tools, and just I want to know more about this concept. But like there's nothing really presented in the demo.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, like it's really cool. Everything is really cool. It's just there's not enough explanations going on, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt as well. Like they just drop you in, and I feel like they drop you in chapter 3 after you get those abilities, because that's the only thing they explain is like what the L button does, or like whatever. It'll be on Xbox. So what the L button does, or RB does, and everything. I feel like you just got those abilities probably from the previous chapter, because they didn't even explain to you that you have a melee attack, or like you have a dodge as well. Where like in this game, a dodge is very key as well. I kind of wish they had they kind of, and I'm sure if you were like, for us, we tried this event. I get that like through, I guess, remotely, quote unquote, in a way. I know there was a New York event where stuff like that probably would have been explained.
Sure.
So I kind of think they kind of forgot that part, or at least have it explained. Like just have it. It doesn't. I mean, like it doesn't take that much to just show like, hey, this is what's going on in the current story. And then what we're dropping you here just for like, because this is the best part of the a good way to like get an experience of overall game, a nice preview, and here are the abilities you can do, and then this is like just have like a little quick like snip of a little slideshow, probably just voiced over by someone if you wanted to as well. It's just something that was just definitely left left out, that just like for those who did not who did not go to that New York event will be like, what is happening in this game right now? Which I feel like there's gonna be like a good majority of people like come off a little negative, being like, I'm lost, I didn't know what's going on here. In the first part, like of course, like eventually we were able to figure it out and everything. But after that, once you're able to figure out like, okay, dodging is the main key of the game. You do have melee attacks as well, where you could either pull or you could push enemies away, so you can do like different combos if you want to as well. After that, like the presentation of the game, like the lighting, even when you're jumping, like the music is playing while you're like going towards like you're jumping, like like there's different tones of the presentation. It's a very remarkable of how the game looks of that. But besides like the beginning, it was a rough start. It's like if like you were like at a race and you stumbled in a way before that's what it honestly felt like. So
sure. I think that's a really difficult point of these vertical slices for a lot of these previews, is that you're throwing the player in midway through something, like whether it's a core concept of mechanics or the story and everything, and it's like, well, do you spend time catching players up, or do you kind of just let them kind of exist in this little vertical slice, and then once the game comes out, there's going to be a little more contextual information to be garnered, and then everything kind of falls into place and makes sense for players.
So my biggest concern was just like, so anyone who had joined this preview session was done through the Xbox preview app, which is fine. That's fine. I just wanted something I could read on before, where I could say, just like a little slide saying, here's the controls, here's what you should expect. Let's move forward from there. But, or alternatively, just give us the first 3 chapters of the game if you really want to, give us a preview. Like I think my demo was about an hour. I cleared about an hour. It was fine. I played it a couple times, but it wasn't enough to just understand the concepts, right? Like you have an hour, you kind of have to piece together what you're doing, and then you have to complete the demo, and that's fine, but it doesn't give me what I need to do my job, and that kind of soured me on the thing. And pushing back into what I said earlier, is the combat's probably the weakest part of this game. So it was a very combat heavy game, right? This demo, and that kind of ruined the experience for me. So it's like, I feel if I had that notice ahead saying, you're doing a lot of combat, here's Hazel's Weaver skill set. She can push enemies towards her just to start a combo. Other enemies have bomb skills, so like they will start exploding in an area, so you can push them away. And then she has another skill where she can it's like a chain. She like pulls into this Weaver chain. Like I feel like it's just to do like a crowd control, but like it was never explained to me. And then there's no telltale sign of when to like dodge or something. So like you have enemies striking you, but there's nothing like in Arkham where you kind of have like Batman has like the little thing over his head saying, dodge. They just strike and you kind of have to pay attention, but it's hard when there's, a group of enemies coming at you. And it's just like, it doesn't feel like it's as thoughtful as everything else in the hour demo that I played. Like outside of the combat, everything feels so like thorough, so thoughtfully, meticulously planned. And it's the highlight of what I played is just the exploration, finding, these little paths that have like little power-ups that you can use to upgrade Hazel's skills. It's if I wholeheartedly believe this game would have been better if it was just exploration, puzzles, and the story as it's presented as it is, because everything outside of combat, like I really meshed with. Like I feel like I'm gonna love it based on those, mechanics. But
do you agree with that?
No, I definitely do agree. It is like, especially with the story element of what they told in this chapter or the preview that we had here. Like it definitely does draw you in of basically what they're telling you. I'm like, wow, like what they were telling, like it kind of like gets you like a little choked up or a little emotional as well. It does definitely pull you in, and the story is definitely strong. Especially with like I don't know the South lore either as well. Like
Sure.
that's a whole nother element down there, especially like American South as well.
Yeah.
But like they do like explain like what certain terms would mean. Like if you are from there or you have heard the terms before, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've heard of this. I heard this folklore before, or I heard like a relative speak about this as well. They do explain what some of them are. They don't just like brush like, oh well, if you don't know it, that's too bad type of thing. Like they do kind of explain what it is. So like everything else, like the presentation, the story wise of the game, I would say that I guess the three elements, that the combat would be the weaker point of things at this time. It could get better, of course. Like the game's not coming until April. But at this current point, like even just how it was presented to us, it was like a rough start, I would say.
It feels like an afterthought to me.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we need something to, keep players invested, and they put together this combat system, and it's serviceable, but it doesn't feel like it was something they thought of from the beginning, or it was the main focus. But that's fine. I mean, I understand it. In this case, if that's what they're going to do, I will likely just drop it to easy just to get it out of the way and just push through that way. But I mean, as a weaver, I understand like Hazel's goal is basically, you just discovered your powers. You now need to help clear all these tangles, because it's all based on textiles, and like how in the South, like a lot of the industry there was textiles and like, weaving threads together and stuff like that. And that's cool, but it ties into the over thing. It's like I wish it was explained from the beginning, or hopefully it is in the full game, but it's just it's not what I care about in other than like I want more of the exploration, because the powers are cool. So about halfway through the demo, you unlock the glide. So like you can double jump, and then you start getting glides, and you're gliding through the bayou. So like you want to get from rooftop to rooftop, because everything's kind of submerged in water after the hurricane, and that stuff is fun. Like it's super fun. It's fun to just explore, but it is one of those games where if you fall in the water, it's instant like restart, and I hate that. Like I that's something I wish it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, this is the world that she's living in. Why can't she at least fall in the water and I can recover from there? It's like as soon as you fall in the water, you lose health, and you go back to like the last land mass you're on, and it's like that's kind of counterintuitive to what this game I feel should be. If you fall somewhere, you should be able to use your weaver powers to get out of it, not just like she falls in. It's you got to start over. But the good things I want to talk about, like from the outset, Hazel's a cool character. So you meet the Catfish is probably one of my favorite things in this game.
He looks great.
He's really awesome. Yeah.
Graphically, if you have a proper like screen, like I have my C2, I have 120 frames on this TV, and like despite being stop motion, probably one of the most stunning games I've ever seen. Like once you have like a great visual, like a good vista, like I stopped and I was like, this is stunning. Like this is easily, obviously, Compulsion's best looking game. The stop motion's a good way to tell the story. I feel like it does something a few games do these days. Like stop motion is really hard to do.
It is.
Last year Harold Halibut, like I praised that game. It was so ingenious by using stop motion. It was like a Wes Anderson stop motion movie. It was like, I want people to play that game. And
it looked really good.
It looked really good, and further to the point, like stop motion in this game is top notch. I love it. I feel like more games should be using it, and more so to the point, like that's what this game's about. It's more about the story and the characters, and that's why I want to focus on those things, right? Like the Catfish, like I said, he's really cool. He's kind of smarmy. He's sassy. Like he's obviously like Hazel's guide into this world. And I feel like I hope like he's kind of like a narrator in this game, where he's kind of explaining things to not just to Hazel, but to us. So it's like he knows everything. Like he's caught in a trap, and you have to basically save him in the demo. Yeah. And once you get to that point, that's when this game really picks up, because by that point, you have Hazel's glide ability, you have the double jump, and then you have a really cool wall run, which you can like adjust with like the stick to go up or down from rooftop to rooftop, which is cool.
And you figured out the combat by then, so as well.
Yeah,
So
but even that still like the combat
yeah.
at that point there, the last like half hour of that demo is just basically a platforming section because as you're doing this demo, you're basically told by the Catfish to go to this bottle tree, which basically is a tree in the south that people that live there, they would put bottles on this tree and they use that to store like their memories and stuff, like good or bad or whatever. And Hazel has to go get a bottle from that tree because these two characters that you hear of, they're just people that used to live in this area. They're called Benjo and Rhubarb, and basically these two brothers, something happened between them, and I think it's Rhubarb. Rhubarb was betrayed by his brother Benjo, and he was basically left to become a tree. And
yeah, it's a real like Abel and
Abel story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, basically, what happens is like Hazel is basically learning the story, and she's like, "This is really sad," and I'll try and help where I can. And basically, it turns out that the Catfish is being held by Rhubarb, who's this massive tree. He's like a red tail tree. What are those red in California? Red oak trees. Like he's a massive tree, and he's like you see him. His body's just kind of like fused to the tree, and like he's holding the Catfish in his hand. So you basically have to go through this town and find the story of these two brothers and help heal Rhubarb to let go of the Catfish.
Cool.
And as you do that, like this is where I was like, I'm sold, because you're doing this thing, you're learning about these brothers, and then you start doing this platforming because you got to start climbing Rhubarb, the tree, to get to the top to relieve him of his pain. And as you're doing that, like some of the best blues music I've ever heard in my life starts playing. So this music's swelling as you're climbing, and then you get to the top, and it's like she sets him free of his pain, and the Catfish is free, and the demo basically ends.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I want. Like I want more of this. Like it's just the platforming and the story building. Like I want that. And based on that alone, like I feel like this is going to be a good game, and I like I'm looking forward to April now because just based on that little bit I played.
Yeah. Marcel, did you have a similar experience?
Yeah, definitely. That whole presentation over there with how it was just basically telling the story. You're running through the platform, even just from with the gliding you have, or the double jump you also gain later on as well. You're also doing some wall jumping and wall running as well, going up and telling the story. And like the music is just getting like the music is telling the story as well. Why listen to the music? It's telling you there's like what's going on with the main story. So even just that presentation as well it's very well done. Even just subtle things of like if you just want to explore, it's not like a big area for you to explore, but if you just happen to go like at a different area to get some different collectibles, like even just like I was mentioned before, like a simple jump, like it will kind of like hum the current song that you're jumping everything. So it's a very like lively environment that is going. That's it's very the presentation of it is very well done. And that's why I kind of feel like with the combat, it was like was probably like the third part that's added in there. But like overall, like the story is well done, and like they tell the story very well. And like there's a reason for you to go and do that. Obviously, you want to save the Catfish and everything. So there's reasoning behind it. You're not just doing it for no reason at all. But it's a very, and like visually the game is very, like I forgot it was even stop motion. I was just like, oh my god, like this game is just visually very beautiful, and like I don't see the stop motion as like a distraction whatsoever. It's really well done.
Yeah. And something I want to ask about is the going back to the stop motion, because I know I love it. I especially going back to Harold the Halibut. I thought that was very innovative, and what a great use of such a filmic art style and bringing it over to video games. And it's something that captured my eye with South of Midnight as well. But I know a lot of people can't handle that. It's the strange, frame rates and stuff like that. And did you guys have the ability to turn it off? And if so, like, did you guys play around with it at all? How did you find the contrast of having the stop motion versus not?
I don't think I noticed anything in the settings to adjust. I know there's stuff for like bloom and like blur and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything to turn off that frame rate. I feel like it's probably it's something that Compulsion ingrained into their storytelling.
Well, I think they confirmed, like, there's confirmation that there will be at least the ability to turn it off.
Okay,
I didn't know if it was in
yeah.
the demo at all.
I did
or the
not
preview.
see that. Yeah.
I didn't see that, but to be fair, there's also a bunch of stuff that in the settings that were available. Like, well, not available, they're listed there, but you can't actually turn them on or off.
Yeah.
So there was just like, I feel like the settings were all in place, but there's a lot of stuff that wasn't available to us. The quickest thing I can do is probably check, but I mean, I feel like it's if you're saying that's something they confirm, then I'm sure it's going to be there. But like, I don't find it to the point where it's distracting. It isn't as like as bad as some games I've seen where it's just it slows everything to a crawl. Like the world itself is still running at normal pace, but the characters are obviously stop motion, so it's not.
It's kind of like the Kojima thing with the upcoming with Doll Man, for example, where like you can tell he has different frame rates. Like this in this one they added more frames than him, because with him it's like, whoa, what is, like, you are not meant to be in this world type of thing. What's happening here? But in this game, it's not. It blends well with this world, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was just curious about that because I had a couple conversations with people, and they're like, I don't really like it. Do you think I'm going to enjoy the game? And I just looked it back up that Paris Lilly earlier spoke with the studio and confirmed, I guess, that there will be a setting for that. But I guess it wasn't in the preview.
Yeah, there's something I didn't see whatsoever.
Okay, interesting.
There's a lot of there was a lot. I was just browsing. There was a lot of cool accessibility stuff, but like I said, it wasn't available to us. It's just like everything was there, but you couldn't actually turn it on or off. It was just a little vertical slice, and basically what you get is what you get, and like that's fine. But like, yeah, if it's something a lot of people are not looking forward to, like they don't like that stop motion, like I'm glad there's something to turn it on and off. But I don't really have a preference. Like I do like it, and that's just going back to the Night Before Christmas. Like I love stop motion. Like I feel like that's like a really unique storytelling mechanic that you don't really see these days, right? I mean, there's very few games that use it, but like when it's there, I do find it enjoyable.
Yeah, it sets it apart amongst the swell of different games that come out at a rapid clip. So it's to see such a small team approach such a unique art style, and hopefully that mixed with its storytelling and its music, from the sounds of it, really help elevate this game far beyond.
Yeah.
From what it sounds, maybe a little lackluster combat, but aside from that, it seems like there's a lot going into this game positively.
100%. Yeah, no. So and like there's I'm that guy who will always Shazam songs, but like the music especially, like I was trying to find any song that would show up in the game as fun as I could find it. I feel like a lot of this stuff was probably written for this game, because if Shazam can't find it, that tells me something. But I feel like the Compulsion did like a really, really deep dive into Southern music and like blues music, and like they had artists create songs specifically for what they're trying to do, and like I really respect that. And it, even from what we saw in our demo, like that should make a fan of a lot of people of the music style. And like I want more people to step outside of their comfort zone and listen to like a new genre of music. And blues music is like probably one of the best in the world. My brother's a blues guitar musician. He got me into it years ago, and like anytime you hear it, it's just like you really feel like what they're telling you, and like it's emotional, and like you can really understand what they're trying to say. And that's what this game did.
Yeah. One thing, just to go back to the stop motion effect, I just had it right here on the side here. You can stop the motion effect. You can turn it on and off in the thing in there. Okay. It is in there as for you to in-game stop motion effect. You can take it off. But it says it doesn't affect cutscenes. So
Oh, interesting. Okay,
yeah.
so I guess those are already rendered out and
My
everything.
pre-rendered
Okay,
scenes
cool.
as well. But the game, honestly, you feel like you're watching a play. To be honest, just especially like how like while you're going along like with the story or going along with in the level, for example, this how the music is telling more of it and it's amping it up and everything. You honestly feel like you're like it kind of reminds me of. I know Hamilton is a whole different like genre style of music, but it feels like you're like a Hamilton where you're just like the music is the story that obviously the story they're telling you, and you're getting the same feeling from this game right here as well. And it gets really well made. Like blues music is definitely like a lot of different genres like kind of take elements from blues music as well. So it's definitely something that I feel like everyone would enjoy. It's not because people be like, oh, I don't like this music. What is this music? I don't like, like you will start humming it yourself as well. Like it's really well done.
Yeah,
it's incredibly well done. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of everyone says once it's out and the music's available. But
the vinyl coming out for those who didn't know, the vinyl coming out as well. It's like a part of a pre-order package as well. So
is it with 8-bit? Or are they actually releasing it like compulsion?
I believe I'll look it up for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you do, no, I just wanted to go around the horn one more time, see if there's anything else you guys wanted to talk about before. Oh, here it is. Yeah, the art and music of South of Midnight by Cook and Becker. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
Cook and Becker got some good stuff. Like they have a lot of great books.
And it comes with a book as well. Yeah, like 160-page art book, double LP vinyl soundtrack, a comic book by Rob Gullior, and collectible memorabilia as well. You're getting with that.
That's cool. This box set does not include a copy of the game. They just want to point that out.
Exactly. Yeah. So 1,000 units only as well. So
yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
For people who want to invest in this game a little more. But yeah, any other thoughts before we start wrapping up this conversation, Bobby?
Honestly, I'm gonna leave it off with this. Like it is something I feel like I feel like it's gonna be talked about, but not for the right reasons. So with that in mind, like listen to the people who've actually played the game. Listen to people who've spoken to developers. This is not a game about wokeness. It's a story about these people who are just dealing with human emotions and stuff. Like I want people to play it based on that. And from what I played, I'm all for it. I feel like this is going to be a really cool game to talk about in April.
Cool. Yeah, Marcel.
Yeah, for me as well. I'm super excited to try this game out when it officially releases as well. I don't know how you feel how the game will if they came up with a demo for the game. I know it's available on Game Pass. That is its form of demo as well. Yeah. But like it's definitely a game that's gonna be full of great stories and like maybe even stories to like teach, like you might like different life lessons you might be able to learn from this game as well. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to dive into when it comes out in April. So definitely check it out.
Amazing. Well, thank you for this great conversation. I'm certainly looking forward to South of Midnight when it comes out in April. But until then, Marcel, where can people keep up with you online?
Yeah, Gaming Podcast and Gaming Network, and the Bluesky, Marcel Dee at Bluesky.
Amazing. Bobby, how about yourself?
Beat Bash lead us on Bluesky, consolecreatures.com on Bluesky. Check out the website. Check us on YouTube and CreatureCast on all your podcast feeds. We're there.
We're there, baby. And you can find me across the internet at Asvikvari. We really appreciate you tuning in for this episode, and we'll be back next time. We'll see ya.